Okay, so I thought I'd give you a quick view of the Playertek app. I've been using it now for a number of weeks. So I'm just going to run through this and hopefully you'll find it useful for anybody considering whether to purchase it or not. I'm not affiliated with Playertek, just to give you some context. I'm an amateur footballer, 36 years old, striker. Been playing amateur football for about 13 seasons now. And love the stats element, so really wanted to end my career looking at this kind of data. Wish it would have been around 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It would have been fantastic to have that journey throughout my career. But here we are in terms of the main opening page. So you'll see there's a vest and the little pod that you put into the back. You click that when you want it to start. Once you've got it on, and then after you finish, you effectively come into your app. You click on sync, and it pulls all the data quickly via Bluetooth into your app, so you can see it instantly from the changing room. So this is the main opening page. This is your personal best stats throughout the season. So you'll see here I've done 12 games and 7 training sessions. Not training as often as I should. And as a striker then, or whichever position you're playing, it gives you a percentage on the left-hand side, how you compare against a professional. So these are my 4 top-level stats here. So it covers your distance, top speed, sprint distance, and number of sprints during the game. You can change the metrics in the settings as well. So if you wanted to judge it via meters per second or miles per hour, you can do that as well. But I just prefer to go in kilometers per hour, measure kilometers and meters. If you want to go through the little tour in the app on the question mark in the top right, that'll give you a little guided tour. It's not the most comprehensive, but it's good for a start. And then at the bottom here, it gives you, in the colours, it tells you your last 10 games, so red being lost, green being won. And then at the bottom, it gives you a graph of a number of top statistics across the last few games. So the greens being the matches that you played, and the blue being the training sessions. So you have distance, top speed, so you can compare how you're varying from game to game, number of sprints, and then the total sprint distance as well. So then what you can do is you go into the menu. That is actually the season stats there, and then you can come down into your sessions. So this will give you all your individual matches that you've played. So all the green ones being matches, the blue ones towards to the bottom of here, so like training sessions, for example, but they work in a similar way. So go into this one. So this is a game that I played recently in November. So in the top right hand side, you'll see the number of minutes that you were actually wearing the pod. Now you need to be aware that as soon as you turn it on and it gets a signal, then it starts then, and then from whenever you get into the changing room, you turn it off. So if you're wearing the vest to go out training and warming up before the match, then it will track all that as well. So personally, I prefer to put my vest on just before I go out to start the match, so I'm not bothered about tracking the warm-up and things like that, because I didn't want that to manipulate my stats. Hopefully the guys at some point in the future will be able to enable us to cut sections of it, so we can see when we actually started the game and when we finished the game. You can actually set the time that you started the game, but particularly in amateur football, it's difficult to know in any variation, whether you're 5 minutes before or after kickoff, for example. So that's why I put it on just before I leave the changing room. So my overall score on this game was 126%, so impressive from my perspective. I covered 10.5 kilometers, so then it gives you the benchmark at the bottom, how that compares to a typical, in my case, striker's game. So you see all these compare favourably, apart from top speed, which only 26.7. So that's the headline stats. Then it gives you your heat map. So first half and second half. In fact, in this game I played behind the striker, so probably one of the reasons why I covered more distance. But again, the red being the areas that you're most present on the field, split by first half and second half. Then you'll come into your sprints for first half and second half, defined by these arrows. So there's different colour arrows you'll notice there. So the white would denote a speed of between 18 and about 22 kilometers per hour. The orange ones would denote 22 to 25 kilometers an hour, and then the red ones would be anything 25 kilometers an hour or higher, and show you direction of your sprints, tracking across the pitch as well. Thanks for that. And then the final one is your action zones in the match. So you'll see here first half and second half. Again, pretty similar for me in this game. Most of my time was spent in the middle third of the pitch, probably because we were defending for most of the game. And then the final stats towards the bottom just do a 5-minute breakdown of distance, top speed, sprints, and sprint distance, but I don't really use those to any extent. I'm not sure what value they particularly offer. And then finally, you've got a first half versus second half comparison, which is really interesting, particularly for fitness. So in this match, actually, it was a 50-50 split in terms of how my performance was. So pretty similar stats in terms of sprints, top speed, sprint distance, and distance covered. That's not been the same in every game that I've played. There's been some quite large variations, but in this particular one it was 50-50. So those are all the stats that it pulls for your particular game. So the second element to this is the league, so the social element, and I think this is probably an area that Playertek are looking to develop in more detail. Certainly I think it's the most room for improvement. They haven't quite got it right yet, but I mean it has developed since I got the app a couple of months ago. So firstly, you start off with the season league. So effectively this is tracking your total stats since you effectively purchased the pod. So effectively the people at the top of the league are those that have had it for longest. So it doesn't really add much value from my point of view, other than maybe top speed. Of course, that doesn't matter how many games you play, as long as your top speed is up there, you would be able to log that in the top 10, for example, if you were the fastest. For some reason, it's not pulling through my top speed here. You'll notice that my top speed was about 28, over 28 kilometers, but for here it's saying 23.65, so I'm not sure why that is. But effectively, yeah, it covers the distance, top speed, sprints, and sprint distance, which we've covered before. So I think that's an area for them to work on. The month league is a little bit better. Of course, it doesn't matter how long you've had it, you're just comparing yourself against everybody else for the month. Of course, there are going to be variations. There are going to be people that play twice a week. There are going to be people that train twice a week as well. So again, you're not comparing like for like. However, it does enable you to compare yourself against some people. And I guess if you're comparing yourself against friends, then you're likely to train and play at the similar time. So it's easier to compare like for like. So again, the top four stats here that we've discussed previously. They do have a team of the week. I'm not exactly sure how this is judged. I think it's judged on number of sprints. I've actually been in the team of the week once. It wasn't my most impressive week, so I'm not really sure how that is judged. It's not clear in any of the instructions, but they have that, so that's quite fun if you can get into that. And then probably the biggest area of development is the Friends League, or should be the biggest area of development for Playertek is the Friends League. It's really difficult at the moment to try and find out which of your friends has Playertek, so it just needs a simple search, I think, here, where you can link it into Facebook or link it into your phone book just to see who your friends are. Two on this list, I've just had random invites from some other guys in the game, so it would be good to make it more interesting to see which of your friends are using this as well. Then you could create a league as well with those. So that's the I guess the social element to it, and that's it really. The settings there, as mentioned, you can change your metrics in there, change your position as well, so that would then compare you against a typical professional midfielder rather than a striker, for example. So I hope you found that useful. I will try and post some other videos to see how I'm getting on during the season. But if you found it useful, then leave a comment, give me a like, and yeah, good luck with it. Thanks a lot.